there! Here comes the second episode of Do Epic Shit Habits. Successful people are simply those with successful habits. Here, let's see the author's habits along with his takeaways. Before getting to know that, do subscribe and press the bell icon and get notified whenever the next episodes are uploaded. Mistakes I made in my 20s. Mistakes number 1. I continued to pursue my education because I was good at it without ever asking myself if it made me happy. Just because you're good at something doesn't automatically ensure you're happy about doing it. Mistake number 2. I looked down upon people who used to smoke or drink or party every weekend. I felt they were losers and the reason to bring the world down. It is not what you do, but who you are under Bennett that decides you. Mistake number 3. I read books that made me look cool, without truly understanding what I could learn from those books until much later in life. People do not remember you for the company you keep. They remember you for who you become because of that company. Mistake number 4. I felt morally obligated to help everyone in distress. And if they continue to remain unhappy, I blame myself. The best gift you could give yourself and to others is to take care of your own happiness. Mistake number 5. I felt the lack of money was the root cause of all our family problems. And once we have money, we would no longer have any problems. Our problems are the stories we tell ourselves of how everything will be fine once we get what we want. Mistake number 6. I felt that rich kids would never make it in life because they got everything on the platter and do not know how to struggle. Their privilege would always harm them. It's not the privilege that harms us. It's the lack of awareness of our own privilege that harms us. Mistake number 7. I ate shit, slept odd hours, maintained bad exposure while constantly telling myself that I have tomorrow to fix all these. An excuse is the distance between who you are and who you wish to be. Mistake number 8. I really tried hard to please people. I wanted them to like me, to think highly of me, or to speak highly of me. If your happiness depends on external validation, then your happiness depends on something you cannot control. Mistake number 9. I took loans, but I didn't have money yet. And I kept telling myself, but I have money in the future and that's why it is okay. If you do not have the money to pay for something right now, you do not have the money. Mistake number 10. I did not think subjective topics such as psychology, business ethics, or human resources were needed or even important. Business is all about finance and marketing. Business is all about people, how well we know them, how you could treat them. Mistake number 11. I assumed if I speak well and speak confidently, I would cover up for the lack of content I have. You cannot lie on stage. The audience will always know what's coming from the heart. Mistake number 12. If people approached me with their problems, my job was to determine whether the problem was worth my time or not. And if it was, then my job was to fix it. Listening to someone without judgment or perception is the most precious gift you can give to someone. Mistake number 13. I need to have a plan. A plan is the only way to get to any point in life. If you do not have a plan, you do not have any chance of getting anywhere. To not have a plan and to be okay with it is the best plan. Mistake number 14. I looked around and saw that everything was designed to make our lives comfortable. And so I assumed the purpose of life was to make life comfortable. Avoiding the comfort trap is the difference between who you are and who you could have been. Mistake number 15. If I said something, wrote something, shared something, I feel rejected when no one cared, when no one responded, when no one commented. No one owes you their time and money. You earn it every day by doing the work you do. Mistake number 16. I had to make money fast, buy my parents that house, buy that fancy car, that vacation. I had to make money fast to buy the stuff. Money can buy you stuff, But the biggest thing is it buys us freedom, including freedom from stuff. Mistake number 17. I assumed if you could work hard, really hard, you would have eventually win. Working hard is the only thing that matters. What you work on is just as important as how much you work on it. Even donkeys work hard. Working smart is the difference between a donkey and a human. Mistake number 18. I blamed myself for being late in the game. At 29, I was jobless with no money, no plan, and no clue. Today, I know that 20 should be used to discover yourself as against stabilizing yourself. Meet as many as people you can. Do as many as jobs you can. Explore as many as streams you can. Find out what you are good at and what makes you happy. And then spend 30s doing that. I'm embarrassed at what I was in my 20s. The underconfident, the people-pleasing, the overweight, stuck on one part, bad with money, judgmental kid, but I'm glad that I was all of that. Because now I know who I do not want to be. I wish everyone could get rich and famous and everything they ever dreamed of so they can see there is not the answer. And it was written by Jim Carrey. Mistakes I made in my 30s. Mistake number 1. I hired people with strong pedigree and great brands on their resumes, ignoring how they operated as people. I assumed their degrees would drive their success. As you grow professionally, it's not what you know, but how you deal with people that determines your success. Mistake number 2. I told myself that relationships can't wait. That call to my parents can wait. Saying I love you to my wife and kids can wait. Spending time with them without my phone can wait. I told myself I don't have the time. The time is the only thing that matters. Everything else can wait. Mistake number 3. I managed everyone the same way, my way, the way that was easy for me, scalable for me, convenient for me. If there is anything that should not scale with size, it is leadership. It should get harder for you to lead as you grow. Because people are different, they are not you. Mistake number 4. I felt having a second child could be a disaster. It would make me feel even more guilty for not being present as a father to our son. When you don't have anyone, you have your siblings. And that's something you don't ask for. Your parents give you that gift. Mistake number 5. I put all my savings into illiquid assets, real estate, startups, and when we went through the financial turmoil, we lived like rich and poor, selling jewelry to make ends meet. Though you call it an investment. Mistake number 6. I assumed everyone's definition of motivation for success is the same. That of glory, that of respect, that of inspiring others. Everyone has a different definition of success. And only if your work sets other people up for their success, you will be successful yourself. Mistake number 7. After the birth of our first child, I felt like I lost my partner to my son's mother. I missed my friend because she was always busy rearing our child. It is only when both parents contribute in raising their child that they keep their partnership alive. Mistake number 8. I felt bad once all the awards stopped coming my way after I started nearby. When I had an easy job at Groupon, I was spoken of. When I worked the hardest ever, no one noticed. The awards are never for us. They are for the positions we hold. Mistake number 9. I felt venture capitalists were in the business of building businesses together with the founders, and our interests were thus aligned. Venture capitalists are in the business of entering and exiting businesses, and that often means interests will eventually clash. Mistake number 10. I was convinced I would do well financially if I became an entrepreneur. I would raise tons of money and be worth millions. Never start up because you want to make money from it. The odds of making the same money through the boring professional career is much higher. Mistake number 11. I assumed people would be okay if we laid them off and found them another job. No, laying people off is rarely about the job. It is all about their self-respect. Mistake number 12. I maxed my credit cards, borrowed money from friends, delayed my payments just so I could contribute to maintain the lifestyle that I had. I felt going down on that was a sign of failure. Treating our lifestyle standards as a measure of our success is a sign of failure. Mistake number 13. I thought that no one wants to be led. Everyone wants to do their own thing, so let them. Not true. 99% of people want to be led. They want to be told what to do and then they'll go on to do their best. They want to be led, not managed. Mistake number 14. I allowed my irrational optimism about the future take over the need to be deliberate and thoughtful before making decisions. I assumed an everything will be okay approach towards everything. Hope is not a strategy. In my 20s, I dropped out of my PhD, finished an MBA, worked in consulting, earning a lot, started up with some success, had founder conflicts that led me to live. At 29, I was jobless with no money, no plans, and no visibility, but I learned a lot. In my 30s, I started two businesses, raised money, laid off people, made absolutely no money for myself and my investors, made poor people decisions, and wasn't a good father. At 39, I was again jobless with no money, no plans, and visibility. But I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm fortunate that my 30s were much better than my 20s when it comes to the mistake that I made and the impact they had on me. As a decade passed, I realized what is truly important in life. It wasn't money for me or fame or recognition. It was the ability to do what I wanted to do without caring about what the world thinks of me. I made a lot of mistakes on my way to arrive at the definition of success, and I consider myself fortunate. If it weren't for these mistakes, I would still be an ill-aware 41-year-old adult who knows nothing better than a 5-year-old does. Reflecting upon my mistakes has taught me the most about myself. I hope it does some magic for you too. My failure resume. I turned 41 in 2021. Here is a list of things I failed at. My failure resume. Getting into the IITs was a dream. I tried it during my 12th, didn't make it, not even close. It was the first time I saw my father cry. I'm guessing he felt this be the one that will get us out of our financial miseries. I don't know. I never asked him why he cried that day. I didn't make it to any engineering college, none that mattered that I wanted to get into. So I decided to go for a 3-year BSc degree from St. Stephen's. I was rejected at the interview stage. Mr. Wilson said, I don't think you will be good at physics. Tried again for the IIT while the first year of the college. Didn't make it, not even close. This time no one cried, not even me. Maybe I knew it all along. Once the college was over, I decided to go to IITs for my master's in physics. Sat for exams, didn't make it to any, except IIT Kanpur who called me for an interview. Dr. H.C. Verma asked me a question. I didn't even know how to begin to answer. I apologized and left the room. Began applying to the US universities for my PhD in physics. Princeton was the top university that I want to get into. Applied to 7 universities in all. Within a month, 6 of them has rejected me and joined the only university that accepted me. One particular course final exam, the professor asked me the rationale behind the theorem. I vomited the entire proof. No errors. Heard back. Haven't seen anyone remember this so well. I wonder how much of it you truly understand. Dropped out of my PhD. Came back to India. Everyone else was devastated. I was 24. No money, no plan, no direction, no career, and no education. To change my directions. Sat for CAT to get into IIMs. Didn't make it to the interview shortlist of any of them. None. Got into the Indian schools of business. Till they don't know how or why. Figured consulting is what will give me the most exposure, and considering I didn't have any experience to be proud of. Applied to all consulting firms. Everyone rejected except Boscon Consulting Group and A.T. Karani. Sat for the BCG interview. The interviewer at the end of the conversation asked, how much would you rate your performance today on the scale of 5? 2 out of 5, I guess. I would agree, he replied. For my and did a sloppy job of it. Every draft was laden with mistakes. If I didn't trust you with your work, it doesn't matter how smart you are, my manager remarked. Joined my MBA batchmate in his startup as a co founder. I didn't use technology to scale, kept fighting problems with my time, didn't admit my mistakes, didn't seek feedback, didn't think I was doing anything wrong. After a year, he fired me. He did the right thing. I was 29, no money, no plan, no direction. Decided to take up a job and thought product management was the right role for me. Applied to Google and Facebook, never had back from them either. Decided to start up instead, a food company, pitched to Indian Angel Network, Mumbai Angels, and 11 high net worth individuals. Everyone rejected the idea. At that time, I thought everyone rejected me. Got the opportunity to run some of the Groupon's APAC markets. Didn't know how to delegate, didn't know how to lead from the distance, didn't know how to get results through others. Failed miserably as a leader and a manager. Got the opportunity to buy Groupon's India's business by raising external capital. Pitched to 23 venture capitalists across the world, 22 said no. Launched a referral program on Nearby without the checks and balances. Lost 11 crore in a month. Thought the growth, even if unprofitable, would excite investors. So money would eventually come. Running fast out of money, we had to reduce our burn. Laid off 80 people out of 300. Stood in front of the company, apologizing and crying. I had failed everyone and myself. With no money, we became subleasing the office. Once the lease expired, we had to vacate, leaving our tenants dry and dry. They thought we would never leave. I did too. Began the process of fundraising again, pitched to 68 investors across the world. 67 refused. One gave us a short-term sheet. Began the process of fundraising again, pitched to 68 investors across the world. 67 refused. One gave us a term sheet and withdrew before we signed. All this while we took salary cuts to reduce our losses, and my personal expenses were greater than the income. I had no savings. All my savings had been invested in Nearby. I had to borrow from friends. Both my credit cards maxed out. I had to keep my parents' house as a collateral to raise money for my sister's wedding. To give Victor a bicycle on his birthday, something he had been asking for a year, we had to sell Ruchi's gold bangles. We surprised him when he came from school. He broke down, so we did. Despite my best intentions, Nearby could not become what I had imagined it to be. Investors lost their money. People lost their jobs. So many lost their confidence and trust. I failed to make it work out and realized I should not attempt to anymore. I was 39, no money, no plan, no directions. A resume is such an interesting document. It is a showcase of all the great things you have done, accomplished, and are proud of. But it never talks about how you reached there, the failures that got you there. My life is so much more about my failures than any of the little things I have managed to accomplish. For the first 6 years of his life, Vidar used to draw the family with me holding a phone in my hand. That is how he could remember his father. My parents didn't hear from me for days because I was busy. And that's it. Now it's time for you to implement these strategies and get the most out of it. Hope you find something breathtaking in this video and see you again tomorrow with the next episode. Thanks for watching and keep growing.